Japanese shareholders of Lotte Holdings have endorsed Group Chairman Shin Dong-bin, strengthening his hand, but many obstacles remain. Military tensions run high as North Koreans have set up propaganda loudspeakers on the DMZ, while the South Korea-U.S. military exercise runs through next week. And Korea's Super Junior took the honors of Choice International Artist at the Fox Teen Choice Awards in the USA. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, August 18th. I'm Luke Clary. The body of late CJ Group Honorary Chairman Lee Maeng-hee has been transported back to Korea after he passed away in China. Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong visited his deceased uncle's altar on Monday night, and attention now shifts to whether Lee Jae-yong's visit will result in a dramatic reconciliation of the Samsung and CJ families.
Samsung Electronics Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong visited the altar of his deceased uncle, CJ Group Honorary Chairman Lee Maeng-hee, on Monday night. After paying tribute to his uncle for about 20 minutes, Lee Jae-yong left the funeral hall with a stiff look on his face. Earlier, Lee Jae-yong's mother and Leeum Samsung Museum Director Ra-hee, as well as his younger sister and Hotel Silla CEO Boo-jin, paid tribute to late Lee Maeng-hee. Attention is now focusing on whether Lee Jae-yong's visit to late Lee Maeng-hee's altar will result in a dramatic reconciliation of the Samsung and CJ families. Lee Maeng-hee lost his inheritance rights for the Samsung Group fortune. The Samsung family feud began in 2012 when Lee Maeng-hee filed a suit against his younger brother Kun-hee. Later, the two families reconciled to some extent when Samsung Vice Chairman Lee Jae-yong submitted a petition in favor of Lee Maeng-hee's eldest son Lee Jae-hyun when the latter was tried in court.
Japanese shareholders of Lotte Holdings have endorsed Group Chairman Shin Dong-bin, solidifying his control over the group. However, Shin faces many obstacles to overcome despite his overwhelming managerial control both in Korea and Japan. Here's more. Despite confidence on the part of both brothers, the Lotte Holdings shareholders meeting ended in victory for younger brother Chairman Shin Dong-bin. Shareholders endorsed Chairman Shin, along with hopes that the group will establish a stable managerial system and pursue transparent management around him. As a result, Chairman Shin has secured control over the group both in Korea and Japan. Shin said that family issues must not be confused with business management, stressing that issues such as the dismissal of executives would be determined through due procedures. With the shareholders meeting confirming Chairman Shin's dominance over his elder brother, the family feud within the Lotte Group, which has lasted for more than 20 days, appears to have been settled for the time being. However, there is a possibility that aftershocks will continue, as Shin's elder brother suggested that he will not give up managerial control following his attendance at the shareholders meeting.
私の信じるところを貫いて、これからも仲間である社員の皆さんと、それから取引先の皆様と一緒に歩んでいきたいと思っています。
Addressing the public's anti-Lotte sentiment formed in reaction to the family feud remains an urgent task facing Chairman Shin. North Korea has responded to South Korea's resumption of loudspeaker announcements in kind with loudspeakers of its own. The military tensions between the two Koreas continue to escalate, especially over the ongoing Ulchi Freedom Guardian joint South Korea-U.S. military exercise, which runs until August 28th.
Up until early 2000, North Korea often made loudspeaker announcements in the demilitarized zone aimed at South Korea. The South Korean military says that the North has resumed loudspeaker announcements for the first time since they were suspended in 2004 after the two sides reached an agreement. So far, the announcements were made in 3 or 4 areas of the Eastern Front, but they will likely be expanded gradually to other areas as well. The military says that the North's recent announcements are apparently aimed at making the South stop its announcements rather than as a propaganda tool. It's likely that the North is trying to prevent psychological unrest by blocking the South's announcements from reaching North Korean soldiers and citizens. Meanwhile, South Korea and the United States have begun the annual Ulji Freedom Guardian joint military exercise. The computer-simulated drill, designed to evaluate and improve preparedness for a warlike situation on the Korean peninsula, involves some 50,000 South Korean and 30,000 U.S. troops this year.
The newly coined term, the Ice Age for youth employment, goes a long way toward expressing the difficulties young job seekers face in today's labor market. Today, we share stories of young people who are struggling to land a decent position. Let's take a look.
A computer software class is underway. The attendees are not engineering students, but students majoring in the humanities. The class, which lasts for 8 hours a day, is a desperate decision made in favor of employment over studying their respective majors. University libraries have long since turned into study rooms for job seekers.
주로 복수 종목 많이 하죠. 경영이나 경제나 이런 쪽으로 해서 고시 준비하는 분들도 많이 계시고요.
630,000 job seekers are struggling to build up satisfactory job-related qualifications for their resumes. The number of young jobless people has reached 1.16 million, taking into account applicants to exams for government employment and job hunters working at part-time jobs. Their inclusion raises the effective youth unemployment rate to 23%, more than twice the official figure of 10%. The youth employment rate has been hovering at around 40% for 10 years, stuck at approximately 2/3 of the OECD average.
Water sports enjoy popularity during the hottest time of the year, but failure to abide by basic safety rules often results in accidents. Here's more.
Boats crisscross the narrow river within inches of one another. These two boats barely avoid a collision. Young jet skiers make many sharp turns, but none of them are wearing a safety helmet. Playing water sports under the influence of alcohol is outlawed, but here, drinking parties are underway all over the station. Few people uphold safety rules at the beaches as well. Jet skiers speed right next to people sunbathing nearby. This man in a banana boat is not wearing a helmet or even a life jacket. Local governments say their crackdowns are of little help due to the lack of staff and safety equipment.
저희가 장독선이 2대밖에 없어요. 범위가 워낙에 넓어요, 송평호 자체가. 저희 관할 지역이 끝에서 끝까지 1시간 넘게 가야 돼요.
Over the past 5 years, 145 water sports accidents occurred in the ocean alone. 22 people died or went missing, while 145 others sustained injuries.
Under new rules, people will not be able to withdraw money from cash machines if they're wearing masks or sunglasses. To prevent crimes like fraudulent financial schemes, the Financial Supervisory Service plans to introduce cash machines with face recognition software starting from October at the earliest.
A man in his 20s wearing a hat and sunglasses stands in front of a cash machine to withdraw money. However, no money is dispensed.
예금자 보고를 위하여 얼굴 가림을 확인해 주시고 다시 거래하여 주십시오.
With the facial recognition program in operation, the machine blocks cash payment if a user attempts to withdraw money with their face covered. Cash payment is approved only when the eyes, nose, and mouth are all visible, so users cannot withdraw money if they are wearing a mask or sunglasses. The Financial Supervisory Service will introduce facial recognition cash machines at banks as early as this October.
대부분 사기범들이 CD ATM에서 돈을 인출할 경우에는 얼굴을 가리고 나타납니다. 안면 인식이 되지 않았을 경우에는 돈 인출이 되지 않도록.
The facial recognition cash machines will be expanded to all banks starting next year after a trial operation.
Math comes in handy in various fields, from deciding bus routes to creating 3D animation. The government has designated mathematics as a field capable of driving technological innovation and will offer support to make math more useful and popular.
2 years ago, the city of Seoul instituted a late-night bus system, but had trouble deciding which routes to include. Then the city found a solution in mathematics. By analyzing more than 3 billion calls made on mobile phones, the city set the routes along the areas with heavy floating populations. 3D animation films also make use of mathematical principles. This new graphics technology that allows a user to smooth out the line between 2 points is based on geometry. The government will now subsidize so-called industry math, which could build the foundation for new industries in the future. The government will provide support by selecting tasks that can be technologically innovated using math and linking colleges and businesses to work on those tasks.
산업계와 수학계가 협력을 해서 작더라도 의미 있는 성공 사례를 만들어서 수학이 산업에 도움이 된다라는 공감대를 좋게 확산시키고자.
Countries around the world have realized that the nations strong in math are the superpowers of the future and are attempting to popularize the field of study. Accordingly, the Korean government also plans to find uses for math in our everyday lives.
The Fox Teen Choice Awards in the U.S. honor the hottest stars in film, television, and music. Now, Korea's Super Junior can be counted among the brightest stars as the idol group was named Choice International Artist. This and more news coming up in today's Showbiz segment.
Korean idol group Super Junior was voted Choice International Artist at the Teen Choice Awards, aired on U.S. media network, the Fox Channel. This year's award recipients were selected via polls conducted on social networking sites, with 25 million fans around the globe participating. Super Junior won the Choice International Artist Award given to the hottest musician outside of the U.S. The group's official fan club was also recognized with the Choice Fandom Award for their enthusiastic support. A posthumous album to mark the first anniversary of rocker Shin Hae-cheol's death will be released in October. The tribute album will feature 3 tracks, including the much-anticipated Real World, in which the legendary Seo Tae-ji is known to have participated. The album will be released under the band name Next, the rock group that Shin had led until his death.
Getting yourself the proper nourishment is especially important in the hot summer. Corn is a healthy snack of summer, and today we'll share tips on how to best enjoy the summertime treat. We'll also introduce tips on how to keep your clothes neat and tidy throughout the summer. Let's take a look. Corn is a tasty, nutritious snack of summer. Choosing good, fresh ears of corn is the first step to enjoying the summertime snack to the fullest. Look out for greenish leaves full of ears. Fresh corn kernels are flavorful, while the silk is somewhat brownish. Boiling is the best way to cook corn without sacrificing nutrients and taste. Put corn leaves on the bottom of a pot and then place the corn. Next, cover them with corn silk.
옥수수를 삶을 때 껍질을 한 겹 남겨두시면요, 수분을 날아가는 걸 막을 수 있고 더 부드럽고 맛있는 옥수수를 맛볼 수 있습니다.
Pour water to the level the corn is soaked. Pear juice and salt are a good alternative to chemical sweetener widely used for boiling corn. Boil the corn on high heat for the first 15 minutes, and then for 10 minutes on medium heat and for 5 minutes on low heat. You can iron your clothes without the burden of using a hot iron. First, prepare an empty plastic bottle. Let's start with a cotton shirt. Fold the shirt widthways first and then lengthways. Roll the water-filled plastic bottle around the shirt.
물의 무게, 즉 가압에 의하여 주름을 펴는 효과가 있습니다.
Here's a way to straighten a collar without an iron. Cut out a rectangle of cardboard paper. Fix it to the half-dried collar with a clothespin. The wrinkles in the collar are naturally straightened while the shirt is completely dried. Here's a way to remove wrinkles in your clothes without using your hands. Fold up just washed damp clothes in squares. Place thick clothes at the bottom and pile others on top. Cover the heap with a towel and tread on it. Then, hang the wash on a clothes rack. You can wear your clothes right from the drying rack without wrinkles. With these tips, you'll be free of the burden of ironing in the hot summer. Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. And that's it for this edition of News Today. Thanks for being with us, and we'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Goodbye.